Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Scopy Plays. Literally the fifth time I've tried to make this damn video, so I really hope to God that I can pull this off. Technical issues abound. I don't know why all of a sudden I have lost the ability to do any of this correctly, but we're going to go ahead and see if I can't get all of this under control. Okay, so today we'll be playing Stellar Tactics, a game that's been in development for about 10 years. It is from a sole developer, I believe, and I've been playing it during its development, and I really enjoy a lot of the aspects of this game. It's got a narrative, it's got tactical combat, both on ground and in space, and it also has kind of a little bit of a, I don't know if you call it a guided sandbox gameplay to it, but you do have the ability to make a lot of your own decisions to go where you want to go when you want to go there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at version 1.0, which was released at the end of March. Okay, so again, I'm going to start a new game even though I went through a good portion of the initial starting area, simply because I lost access to the videos. So right off the bat, we're going to enter the seed for the procedurally generated universe. And like any good Gen Xer worth their salt, I'm going to go ahead and enter the universal seed, preface with a 0 because it has to be 8 characters. And we also have 2 options here. The first is to create the main character and start on the Dauntless. This is a little bit of a prequel to the story, kind of informs you as to what's going on, why you're there, what you're doing. And the other option is to skip all that. So if you've actually done all of this before and you just want to get into that kind of the gameplay, you can go ahead and you can skip this part, but you're going to miss out on the background of the game, a few boss fights and some nice loot. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create the main character to start here on the Dauntless. Okay, so creating the universe is going to take a little while, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of let that roll. Okay, so the first option that we have for creating our new game is to select our career. The career is pretty much solid, so what we choose now we have to live with throughout the rest of the game, but the ship choice is kind of, I guess, there for a sweetener to help you choose. You can choose from a bounty hunter who gets career combat bonuses, an explorer who gets career exploration bonuses. I mean, you can do scanning for data, and it looks like you get a bonus when you're selling that, as well as you get to find better loot when you're looting. And then there's the merchant, so you can get a 10% profit when doing trade orders, NPC trade orders, and you also get a discount when you're buying stuff, including ships. Which ship you end up flying is ultimately not related to your career. So if you choose bounty hunter, you can totally fly an exploration ship or a merchant ship and get the benefits of those ships, but you'll only ever get the career bonus that you choose here at the start. So while all of the bonuses to cash sound pretty good, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get plus 5% damage bonus because there's going to be a lot of combat, and we want to make sure that we're maximizing our output. Okay, so here in the character creation, we get to choose our attributes and our weapon skills, and also general ground-based and space-based skills. So to start, we have 7 points that we can allocate to different attributes here. So first up, I'm going to want to, oh yeah, you can choose your gender, and you can also choose your portrait. So tell you what, let's go with this guy here.
This could be helpful.
You can also listen to the sounds. And you can enter your name. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make him a ranged character. So we definitely want to put 2 points in perception. Okay. We also want to increase our initiative order. So we're going to put a point in agility, a point in dexterity, and intelligence also. Okay, so we're going to put a point there. All right, so we have 2 additional points. Probably want to put one in endurance, and we'll put one in strength for the benefit of the hit points. Okay, so that's all 7 points allocated. Over here now, we have 4 points that we can assign to our weapon skills, indicated by this number right here, and 4 points that we can break out between both of these. So 4 points dedicated here, 4 points dedicated here. So because I want this to be a ranged character, I'm going to choose rifles, shotguns, and probably 2 SMG. And for the ground-based skills, I'm going to choose probably first aid and probably repair. So as our equipment degrades, we can go ahead and repair that, because that's going to be important. In terms of ship-based skills, let's just go with weaponry and targeting, because those two work together. Okay, so we got our name, our portrait, our voice. We've allocated all 7 points. We've got our combat skills, our ground and ship-based skills, and we're ready to go. Okay, here we are, newly released from cryogenics. We have 3 additional party members joining us. We got Sarah, Jenny, and Arnold. We're going to get these little pop-up tutorial items over here, but I'll just talk around them. Basically, we can control the camera using the right mouse to rotate. We can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out, and if we hold down the mouse wheel, the middle mouse button, we can go ahead and translate around. We can also use the WASD keys. I have the edge bump turned off so I can move my mouse outside of the range of the game, but you can turn that on if that's how you prefer to move around in these scenarios. There is no up and down translation as far as I know, so this is basically the view we're stuck with. So to interact with anything, we can go ahead and left click on it. So we're going to get these kind of narrative pop-ups when we interact with any NPCs during conversation, and it's fairly traditional. We're going to have some options here that we can go through. While these pop-ups actually give us information about the stories, I don't think that there's any lasting consequence of your choices that you choose, but I could be wrong. I haven't actually looked into that, even though this is the 5th time I've actually mentioned it. All right, I'm not going to go ahead and read this because you're an adult. You can probably read it yourself, but we'll distill it in the end. What triggered the res? Okay, so there is a phage outbreak. And if we say what is phage, basically it starts off with a little bit of the backstory here. It's a viral disease, and it's part of the reason why we're on this ship. So I assume you remember your training. Training, yes, for the most part. All right, so let's get you equipped. So he's going to review the protocols for activating the mission parameters, which is our heads-up display. And we've got to go through this door over here in order to get that done. So right now, to move, we click on a primary character, and that person becomes the leader, the head of the phalanx here. So we, just like in any other game of this type, you just left click on the ground, and there we go. If you click and hold, you have the ability to move the mouse up and down, which rotates the way that your characters will face when they come to rest. And the arrows in each of the little targeted locations on the ground indicates the way that they'll be facing. So we got to get the out the door. All right. Okay, so let's see the protocol documented here. You should equip yourselves, and basically that's what's going to happen. It's just going to black out, and we are now here equipped. Okay, so he's going to activate the data implants, which effectively means that he's going to give us our heads-up display. Okay. All right, so gather as much as you can carry and head through the next door. But first, we're going to talk about the heads-up display. Okay, so over here, starting up here in the upper left corner, we have our help. We have our the same button as the tab key, which actually will put the green glow around anything that we can interact with in the room. This is our character button. This is our inventory, our log, and our main menu. Up here we have our character portraits for our party. You can select them by clicking on them. We have the our health, our energy, and our shields for our defense right here, so that we can get a good overview of who's in trouble. Moving around, obviously we have our mini map. Down here we have our current loadout. This indicates the weapon that the character currently has selected. Right now, in this case, it is set to single shot. I have 3 AP. I'm not sure if that means to switch or not, but we're not in combat, so the AP bank doesn't really come into play. This right here tells us how many shots we have out of total per clip. So we have technically 4 magazines, I guess. This will swap our weapons. So if we have a secondary weapon equipped, we can swap between the 2 of them. Of course, that comes with an AP cost in combat. This is a med kit, so if we want to use it on ourselves, we left click. And I think if we want to, we can right click to select med kit type. This is to reload the weapon, so if we need to reload in combat, we can do that. And if we had grenades, we could right click here to select the type of grenade, left click to use the type of grenade. All right, so in here we have our readout and action buttons. If you want to pull off any kind of special maneuvers, every character has a kind of like a special ability here, as well as that's kind of like a secondary activity. And then everybody has things like toggle combat, standard crouch if you want to get yourself some more cover, and then group movement. So right now we're moving as a group, but if we needed to move somebody all alone, we can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to move over here and check out this chest. So we've got an EMP grenade, a frag grenade, a medium med kit, and a smoke grenade. Okay, here we have a Conrare Warhawk serrated chainsword. Okay, so we'll take a look at that in a second. Get back into order. And let's take a look at what these buttons give us. So when we look at our character, we get all of the information that we went ahead and set during character creation, right? So these are our attributes with all the points that we've assigned. When we level up, we'll have some more points here that we can spend. We'll allocate those points and then click assign. These values here indicate the calculated values from things like our attributes, as well as from the weapons that we have available to us. And again, down here we have a little bit of information that we can get when we click on various attributes. So over here we have our skills, and it includes everything from all of our weapon skills to our ground skills to our piloting skills. And down here we have perks. So as we level up, we're going to acquire different perks that we can use to further refine our character. So they come in at every 5 levels, and the first milestone that we reach is level 5, where all we get is a in this case a solid +5 to accuracy +2% critical hit chance. After level 10, 15, 20, we get these 3 options that we'll be able to slot over here to make our character better. The equipment page is a shared equipment. So we basically have all of the ammunition that is pooled amongst all the characters. we have the ability to salvage junk or to move items into the stash, which is kind of like our bank. If we want to, we can move any of these items to any character, assuming that they're equipable items. Over here, we have our crew stats. So this is our information for the currently selected character, as well as the armor values and the primary and secondary weapon information. If our weapons had mod slots and we had a mod available to us, we could drag it over there to improve our weapons. And here's where we go ahead and equip all of our stuff. So we've got our shield, we've got some usable tools, we've got our helmet, our chest piece, our gloves, and our boots, and a primary and secondary weapon. So we can cycle between our characters by using the F1 through F4 keys. So this is the primary character. Secondary character here is Jenny. She's got 2 firearms. We have Arnold. He's got a hammer and a pistol. And we have Sarah over here, who has a rifle and this standard issue iron bone knife. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to equip this for her because I think that's an improvement. Yep, it's a 1 point improvement, but that's okay. So one of the things that we actually do need to do is each of the characters here has points. So whilst we created the character when we started, that's our primary character representing us, this party right now, rather than getting some cookie cutter characters, we actually get to go ahead and make this character our own. So if we look at Jenny here, she's got a rifle and an SMG, so that's useful. So we're going to put 2 points into perception because that's ranged. We're going to put a point in agility. Let's see. I'm going to give her a point in dexterity and probably, let's see, we'll go ahead and put 1 in endurance, strength, and probably, let's see, dexterity increases your chance to hit the target, so we'll put another point there. Okay, so we click assign and she's done. All right, so Arnold's our heavy hitter because this thing packs a wallop, assuming he can get up to the enemy. So he's two-handed melee. That is a two-handed melee level 1, and he's got a pistol. So we're definitely going to go to strength, which contributes to damage of the melee weapons. This is your ability to use melee weapons. We definitely want to increase his dexterity, 1 point in perception, and probably 2 points in endurance because he's going to be right up in everybody's face. Okay, so finally we got Sarah. She has a rifle and a melee weapon. So we're going to give her 1 in the perception and 1 in agility, strength, dexterity. Probably going to want to keep her on range duty for the bulk of our time. We don't have a charisma person, so I'm going to increase her point of charisma by 1, and we're also going to increase her endurance. Okay, so before we go ahead and get in combat and realize nobody's performing well, let's go ahead and do that. Finally, we have our log, and if we had information about the universe, this would be where we'd see it, but we're still starting out, so we don't know anything about anything. This is our quest log. So anytime we have an active quest, it'll show up here with some additional information in these panels. And once we complete it, we'll be able to see that list of completed quests here. And data is if we obtain log files or data pads or anything like that, we'll have that information available here. So with that, we can go ahead and ensure that we are in group movement. I'm going to put Arnold here at the front, and we're going to go ahead through here. I'm going to run right up. I'm going to see where we're going. Okay. The phage is one of the reasons. It's a virus so insidious it destroyed the majority of all life on our planet. And so basically, we're on this ship to try and escape it. Everybody's in cryogenics right now. And this is pretty much all of the history of the phage. Grim days indeed. Okay, so taking in those that could prove to be immune. So some were immune, and you are immune, and so is he. This ship and 3 others are all that remains of humanity. And let's see. In fact, the house started to communicate again. Spreading towards the planet, the asteroid, of course. So just when we thought we were doing well, an asteroid comes in. So we took off. And we are on the Dauntless. And we are heading to new home systems separated by mere 2 light years. All right, there's much more to say. Let's not talk about it here. All right, so basically we're kind of a security force, and we are highly trained, surgically and genetically modified. And in case we needed to do anything to keep the peace, or if there's a phage outbreak, as we are running into now. Some were murdered, some were infected. 2 of my colleagues, Emily Jensen, murdered Jason Taft, and there are some others. Okay, so Emily Jensen, immunologist, etc., background information. Why did Dr. Jensen murder Taft? She is dangerous, and you should not hesitate to put her down. Is that our mission? Yes, and rescue other team members that may be alive. So we're going to say, roger that, elevator first, then Emily Jensen, focus on the mission. And we've got the mission entry in our log. Okay. So we got a pop-up here that tells us that we got a new mission. If we hit L, we now have override the elevator lockout. Dr. Ramus has asked you to manually override the elevators, and tells us that they are located on the command deck, which is where we are. If you look at our mini map up here, you'll see that we have some red flags that indicates the location where we need to go. So I'm just gonna send our folks over here. Just gonna tap that and tap that. Get over here. Tap that and tap that. And we're also gonna loot that, and we got a bunch more grenades. So that's pretty cool. Okay, proceed to the elevator to unlock the doors, and when you get there, take the elevator down to the crew deck. And we got to deal with the crew deck before we can get down to the vats, which are remnants of the humans sealed in the container chambers. Each vat contains 260 humans, 8 vats per module, 60 modules on the ship. You do the math. Okay, so we're going to head over here. And we're going to head to the elevator, or so we think. So let's get ourselves into this room. Viral symptoms are greatly accelerated. You must be very careful. One of my colleagues, Kelly Master, seems to have acquired the phage. What are the symptoms? Basically, it turns them into zombies, of course. What do you recommend? Kill them. Is the virus airborne? It's not airborne. So unless it's developed more accelerated pathogenesis, you should be safe. He will remain where he is. Okay, combat mode. Here we go. So we got Kelly Masters. So right now, it looks like we've got Jenny here. She's the first one out of the gate. As we move our mouse around, it shows us where she can move to. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to actually prevent you from attempting to move further than your action points allow, but we do have this bar down at the bottom. She has a total of 8 action points right now, and for every location she moves to, we see that value decrease. So if she goes here, she can then use this to attempt to shoot, but she can't really, so we're going to have her select the facing mode which is going to be right there. I'm going to have her attempt to shoot, but she can't really do very good. Okay, so when we hover over our target here, you'll see that we have single head, a single torso, single arms, single legs. She's in single shot mode right now, so if she was in burst mode, that would be a different, you would say burst head. It also shows the percent chance we have of hitting that and the amount of AP it's going to take for us to attempt to make that move. And we also have her target's life and energy. If we right click on the target, we're going to get a little bit more information. So we can reload our current weapon, and we can switch our fire mode rather than having to deal with it down here. And it also shows our target's resistances. So we've got kinetic resist, bleed resist, electro resist, poison, explosive, thermal, etc., etc. This allows us to get a better bead on the area that we want to target. So if we move our reticle over a target and we can't get access to their arms, say, we can actually just hover over here and just use this value instead. So we're going to actually let Jenny go into Overwatch mode by hitting spacebar. So it's going to take 2 AP points for her to get into defensive mode. And it's not technically Overwatch. It's basically if anyone comes near her or tries to move out of her area of influence, they'll get attacked. Or she could just straight up end her combat turn.
This will be easy.
Okay, so we've got me, the main character. I'm not going to be able to do much of anything at all, so I'm going to move over here. And I have a 63% chance of hitting the torso. Only a 42% chance of hitting the head. So we're going to go ahead and try and hit the torso. I don't have enough AP. I'm not very good at paying attention. Okay, so we're going to just hit space, and we're going to go into defend mode. And if we move over here, we're going to allow Arnold to smack the crap out of her. So to attack her torso with his hammer, gets an 89% chance. And yeah, he did 17 damage, which it took her about to half. So that's pretty cool. In this particular case, can we taunt? Yeah. Okay, so he's going to taunt, so that basically means obviously she's not going to be able to attack anybody else but her. Okay, so we're going to move over here. Yeah. She's going to stab. Okay, I forgot to switch her off of her melee weapon. Okay, so he just took a hit to his shield. All right, so we are going to go ahead and slap her again. And that's it. I'm not sure what to say. I'm truly sorry. Okay, please proceed to the elevator in the crew quarters deck. Okay, so first up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch her weapon. We're going to put her on her ranged weapon because I really only need one person out and about. We are going to check he's got a data card, small data drive, and an ID badge, which is useful. So here we go on his body. So this is a data pad that we got, and it just talks about him talking to Kelly. Marty's one of several engineers. He was a nice guy. All right, so we're going to get Arnold back up front. We're going to loot this. And we have another grenade, but we also have a piece of junk. It's worthless. Merchant may pay a couple credits for it. So once we get out of this and we get out into the universe, we'll be able to take a lot of this loot and just turn around and sell it. All right, so Kelly didn't have anything to loot herself, so that's fine. So let's go ahead and let's get ourselves into the elevator. And here's the control panel that will take us downstairs. But I think this is a good place to stop for today. This is about half an hour. Pretty respectable, assuming I don't edit too much. That's what you've been watching for about a half an hour, so thank you very much. In the next episode, we'll be going downstairs to the crew quarters, and we'll be seeing what effects the phage has been having on the crew of the Dauntless. So once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.